Alright, welcome to the second part of the Smarter Guitarist series that I'm working on. First of all, thanks for the comments on all the videos. I'm glad you guys are watching them and they're helping out. This next series, what I'm trying to do is just kind of get a little bit into theory for a guitarist. You know, when I started playing, there were some things about theory I didn't understand. I had to go and kind of dig for them. But knowing simple things can make you a better guitar player, whether treating a chart, looking at a song, and just kind of understand them a little bit more. Hence, Smarter Guitarist. Yesterday I was talking about doing the major scale and how major triads were made, which where we took the 1, the 4, and the 5. What I'm going to do today is go back to the chromatic scale and show you actually where all the notes come from, period, so we can form more chords from there. So that video is going to center around the chromatic scale right now and how to find it on the guitar. Cool. So first takeaway you want to know is the chromatic scale has got 12 notes. Okay. The second thing you want to know is that it's also referred to as the musical alphabet. Unlike the regular alphabet, which goes A through Z, what we're doing is A through G, or more known G sharp. And what we're going to do is make sure there's no K, there's no L, there's no Z, there's no Y, there's none of that. Once you get to G, it goes to G sharp, and it goes back to A. Alright, so really quick, what we're going to do is run through the chromatic scale. Again, 12 notes in it. The easiest way to show this on the guitar is to grab your open A string right there, and we're going to work our way up till we get to the 12th fret. Remember how I said there were 12 notes? Well, guess what? We're going to take it up to the 12th fret. Alright, so now we're going to start on our open A, and we're going to go through the chromatic scale. Now remember how I said it was A through G? Well, again, in between we're going to have sharps, because if I just go A through G, that's only A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7 notes. So we have 5 more in there, which are known as sharps. Cool, it's the same note you'll find on a piano or pretty much any musical instrument, as far as I know. So let's move in intervals. So what we're going to do is move through our chromatic scale in intervals of half steps and whole steps. Now you may have heard these terms before. What they refer to is the distance between two notes. For example, if I have an A and I want to go up to an A sharp, I would be going up a half step. If I wanted to go another half step from there, I would be going up to B. So before I even get into that, let's go through the chromatic scale from A to A. Ready? Here we go. So open A, okay, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and finally back to A. Cool, so I went from an A to another A, which is also known as an octave, meaning 8. Okay, I meant more than 8 notes because I'm doing a chromatic scale instead of a major scale, but a major scale, like we did in the G major, went from one G to the next, which gave us 8 notes. But then again, a chromatic scale is just 12 notes straight on through. Awesome, does that make sense? Hope so. Okay, so what we're going to do now is look at the interval or the distance between notes. Now, the chromatic scale goes in half steps. Which means we're going from one note only up a half step, or one tone, up to the next one. For example, A to A sharp. If I were to go 2 frets up, or a whole step, that would give me, well, that would give me a whole step, is what 2 frets equal. So the takeaway for the guitar as an interval is a distance between 2 notes, and they move in half steps. Cool. 2 half steps equal a whole step, thus making 2 frets. Half step is 1 fret. That's what makes it easy to move through the guitar. So if I wanted to go from A to a B, that's a whole step, because I have A to A sharp is 1, a half step to B is 2. So instead of saying, oh, I went 2 half steps, I'm going a whole step. Again, it just saves you time. The way the dots fit in with all this is, if you notice the dots, a lot of them are spaced out every 2 frets. For example, I have one here at the 3rd fret, here at the 5th fret, here at the 7th fret, the 9th fret, and then the 12th fret. Okay, if you just think those are for design, what you want to know is that you can move around a lot faster, what I like to call the Mario Brothers warp zone, of finding the notes really quick. Cool, they're 3, 5, 7, 9, and 12. 3, 5, 7, 9, 12. 3, 5, 7, 9, and you got it, 12. Okay, good to know. And that's the only thing you take away from this, just know those dots and where they are. They're going to help you move around, so when you need the 10th fret, you don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10. You can just find the 10 right here. It's just 3 below 12, or just 1 above the 9. Alright, so we learned our chromatic scale. It's 12 notes. You can do it on any string. You can go from E, start on E, and then you work your way up. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. I go to the D string, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. What do you notice that's the same here is that all the letters are in the same order. No matter where you start from, it's just you're continuing the alphabet. If I start on B, the next note's a C, then a C sharp. Okay, it's the same as if we started on A. You're just going to always follow the order. all of our 6 strings start on different notes, which means your alphabet is going to start either in the middle, at the beginning, at the end, and so on. Again, here's G. I go to G sharp, A sharp, B, and so on. The notes will keep repeating. Does that make sense? Cool. That's the order of notes you want to learn. That's the chromatic scale. That's our musical alphabet. Okay? Very, very, very important to know that and refer to it. What I did yesterday is I took a major scale, which was 8 specific notes, or an interval pattern that gave me a major scale. For example, I took a G major, which instead of just going one at a time, I started on a G and then I did a whole step, another whole step, a half step, another whole step, another whole step, another whole, and then a half, and that's how I got that. So the important takeaway here is to know how to form a scale you want. So say you're taking out a major scale. What you would do is go back and just form those intervals. For example, a major scale is made up of certain intervals from where you start. So instead of just going up the notes, what you're going to do is pull out a certain order of a pattern, which is what I like to call the Indiana Jones trapdoor pattern, which we're going to be talking about in my next part, which I'm going to pretty much do right now. So make sure you watch part 3 of this series of Smarter Guitarist.